Yeah, sometimes this browser, I mean, when I first start the computer, I need to just let it sit for a minute. I don't know. You gotta love Google. So, anyways, life equals currency. So, yeah, so everything that you do must be able to contribute to prolonging your life indefinitely. And then when you are expending that energy, those mineral reserves, okay, when you're giving people your energy and you're expending those minerals, how are you replacing them? That's what it comes down to. And so people don't know their own value, okay? People don't know their own value. And when you don't know your own value, you will spend more than you'll replace. And now that's why people die, because they give more of themselves and they're getting in return. But it's not like a selfish thing. It's the fact that you have to balance out your life to be able to still give to the universe, but still keep continuing to live. Why sacrifice? Why sacrifice yourself to the universe? There's no reason to. Okay? Some of you don't understand that when you are doing all these different exercises and you're trying to stay so busy and you're trying to be productive and you want to work a million jobs, and I understand you have certain goals, like you want to, get a degree, or you want to achieve some kind of, I don't know, position in a job. You have to really like work your ass off. And then what you're hoping for is then that dollar value is going to double or triple to then finance the way you want to set up your life. But what are you financing? Are you financing big cars, big houses, um, Fendi type of clothing, Chanel, and all of these name brand clothing? Or are you actually putting it towards making sure that you have the minimal things that you need that's relatively comfortable, you have a little bit on reserve, and that you are prolonging your life? Because there's no point in making all this money and being so successful if you're working to die. That's what I don't get, is when people are in these jobs or in these careers, it's only for a certain amount of time, because they're not refilling their mineral reserves that they are expending on these jobs, on in these sports or these different types of extracurricular activities. If you're giving more to your curricular activities more than you're giving back to yourself, what's the point? You're sacrificing yourself to the universe. So with the J juice, it refills your mineral reserves. So you have to heal. You have to take the time to heal. Take the time to fortify your bank, to hold your currency so it holds value, okay? Simply by just, you know, repeating quotes and memes and all these different, uplifting thoughts of the universe is not going to refill your mineral reserves. Yes, you can get off of Facebook sometimes and take a break and then go do your extracurricular activities, but are you actually getting a return, a real return on your investment out there? Okay? And so some people will do J juice up to a certain point, but they don't want to slow down on their high octane lifestyle. So they're giving more to their sports and their activities and their jobs more than they're giving to themselves. And guess what? They're going to see that they're spending more and disintegrating faster than they're able to replenish. I mean, it's a total fraction thing. There's actually, you can even draw a picture of it. I mean, there's a way where you can like write out all of your activities, write out every single one of your activities, everything that you do. Okay. And then you look at the state of your body. Are you actually 100% healthy? When you think about it, are you actually reversing all of your issues? So you look at how many activities that you're doing, because that's actually expending. That's expending the minerals in your body. You're basically throwing your currency out the window. Okay, when you have activity going on. So when you're running, when you're doing all of your working, your extracurricular activities, all of that, you're throwing your currency out the window. And then at what point are you actually refilling those reserves? And then you're healing. And then you're actually saving that life force that could give you then more currency to go and throw at motorcycling, to whatever it is that you do out there. And some of you don't put enough trust in the J juice. Some of you are like right now, Nicole, I don't know, are you still doing the juice? I don't know, I haven't seen you in the group. You know, did you get off the juice? So some of you have gotten off the juice, or you don't say too much. Maybe you are doing the juice, but you're not saying too much. But are you actually giving the time to the juice to refill your reserves so you can stay in the game longer than you actually expect? Because what's the point of working if you're only going to die? What's the point? And so if you're doing more activity and expending more energy than you're actually taking in, guess what? You're sacrificing yourself to all these companies, to all these people. So that's why you have to be very careful who you give your energy to, because some people will take your currency from you and they won't give it back. They will not give it back. Some people say, okay, I'll give you $25, give you $75, and that's fine. And then it'll give, a little bit here and there. But when you think about really how much you're giving to a person, your minerals, relative to how much they're actually allowing you to go and replenish, you'll find that most of you are being stolen from every single day. And then you want to call, yeah, I'm being generous, I'm being a good person, sacrificing yourself to the gods of good deeds and productivity is the religion of the day. I mean, if you're going to go to work, is going to work actually, did you run the cost benefit analysis? Is working actually going to give you a return on your investment? Because some people, like, let's say, like in a family, if there's two people, one person has a lot of mineral reserves and so they can do a lot of work. The other person is building something. Would it make sense for the person that doesn't make as much money yet go and do like a $5 an hour job, and they're expending more energy than they're getting in return because minimum wage is like what, $9 or $10 an hour? So that's how you have to look at, like, everything that you do is what you're doing giving you a return on your investment to prolong your life. Some of you are still stuck in the activism, sacrificing yourself to the universe gods, and then you're getting nothing back because you're not prolonging your life. You haven't reversed your cancer, disease, and chronic illness. You haven't improved your life since the last time. I mean, yeah, pick and choose your battles, but it's even bigger than that. It's even bigger than that. Measure every single thing that you do on a daily basis. And then what are you doing to refill your reserves, to reverse all your different cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and reverse the aging process? So Krista, let's say, you have all this activity going on, and then you look at your healing process, and then you look at what point, when are you resting? When are you, and how much activity are you doing? And when are you resting? When are you refilling your reserves? Are you seeing a specific measurable result? And it's all about balance, yeah. But see, you have to figure out. And so what I've noticed is that I even, when I go outside with my dog and I see that, when it's hot outside, I see her panting. Then I bring her inside. Now I running her around out here, there are dogs, there are pit bulls that run around, and I don't want her to get attacked because another person got attacked by pit bulls, by the same pit bulls that are in another street. So anyway, so I'd be very careful. I'm very careful with taking my dog too far away. Okay? I don't believe in exercising a dog to such an extent where it actually takes away their life, takes away their life force. So then it's like, how much am I feeding the dog? And then what is her activity level? And then also too, what is her health? And so it's a balancing act of lifestyle and then food and activity and all of that. Okay? So it's measuring everything out to understand. So yeah, if you're gonna be working every single day, you've got to then put time aside to heal if you're still in the beginning of J juice. Some of you will only, do JJ's for a little bit, get all your energy, and then go and expend it. It's like being rich, but newly rich, like nouveau rich. Nouveau riche are people who just started the protocol. And they get through the first like trimester, and then they get all this energy and like, oh my God, this is so great. And then they go and spend that money. They spend that energy because they have like newfound energy that they're like, oh wow, this is so awesome. And they don't realize that they just spent this, but now they have to go and refill those reserves. So when you first start the protocol and you get through the first initial process and you get through the major healing and you can withstand it and you get it, and then you get to a certain point where you're seeing the reversal of some of your issues, and then now you feel like, wow, I feel amazing. This is so great. And then you want to go and spend that money. And so now you're going working and doing this and being all like, all over the place. And then guess what? You just spent yourself. And now you're back to square one because now you've regressed. Like you said, you don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to go backwards. So until you reverse everything, and then even when you reverse everything, you have to figure out, where are you going to put your energy? Where are you going to put your time into? Because people will take from you. They will take your mineral reserves. They don't even know it. Your energy, your time, your minerals in your body, what you expend on any specific person, you can't get back. So this is why you have to be very careful where you put your energy, where you put your time, because I'm telling you, people are dying faster and faster, and they're giving their bodies away for free. Just look all over Facebook. People are giving their bodies away for free. They post all their stuff. Oh my God, the New World Order, Q, and chemtrails, and this and that. And guess what? They've expended minerals, and they're depleting themselves. And then one day they're going to wake up, and they're not going to wake up because they have not refilled their reserves. Your life is your currency. Your ability to produce is your currency. And then some of you are finding ways to manage your handicaps. And so it limits your ability to reverse your illnesses, because you're not putting the money that you're getting from your ability to kind of navigate the market based upon your abilities. You're not giving your body the ability to actually reverse all your issues, because you're putting your money towards things that aren't prolonging your life. If you are spending your money on stuff that's not prolonging your life indefinitely, reversing your cancer, disease, and chronic illness, you're sacrificing yourself to the universe. You're sacrificing yourself to all of the energy that you are putting out there towards a specific. So if it's a specific person, a specific group, a specific activist thing, since when do we become martyrs? Since when do we have to sacrifice ourselves to people that give us no return? Okay? And so that's why I'm very careful who it is I interact with. Some people will suck the life out of me. They will constantly communicate with me and want me to respond. And I get tired of it. I get tired of being spent. I get tired of somebody stealing my minerals. And I get no return from that because they're not doing the protocol. They're not giving any kind of testimony. All they're doing is just throwing up, and they're taking my energy. And then that's when I block people, because they keep stealing my reserves. They keep stealing my minerals. They keep stealing my energy. Okay? And so that's why I don't respond a lot to people. That's why sometimes I have to say, you need to chill out on the comments. You need to chill out on the private messages. You need to chill out on certain things, because I get no return. Not that I'm looking for you to pay me, but you got to give me something, as far as just, do you have information that's going to help not only me, but other people, to then get people to the next level on this protocol? Are you going to be an example of a person that's successful on this protocol, or are you just going to suck the life out of everybody around you? And people do that. They will suck the life out of people around them, and then people will allow it because they don't have any boundaries. And then we sacrifice ourselves to our loved ones. We sacrifice ourselves to our kids. We sacrifice ourselves to our husbands, our wives, our mothers, to corporations, to groups, to activist groups, to the trolls. I gave a lot of my minerals to the trolls, but I needed to because it was where I was at the time. Okay? But then eventually you will stop giving yourself away for free. And then you become very conservative in who it is you give your minerals to, because remember, your life force is your currency. It's what keeps you going. It's what keeps you doing what you love to do. It's what keeps you living indefinitely. But look at the people around you that are sacrificing themselves, giving themselves, and are getting no return on that investment. Or they're getting money and they're not spending it correctly. They're spending it on things that are not prolonging their life. Because you can't take that car with you. You can't take that Fendi Chanel bag with you. Your activist friends are not going to be there with you when you're in hospice. They'll be doing thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. And that's basically about it. That's the extent. People post, oh yeah, this person passed away on Facebook, and everybody goes and does what they do. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks. Oh my God. And then, it's there for like a few days, and then it's like dust in the wind. Maybe a few times a year when there's like anniversaries, people go back and post on their Facebook, oh, I miss you. But that's the extent. That's what your life really is meant now. If you're going to be sacrificing yourself to all of your friends and family and to the universe, if you don't know how to get a return on your investment, which is refilling your reserves, looking at all your activity, are you getting a return on that investment? Are you prolonging your life? Are you reversing your cancer, disease, and chronic illness? Are you spending your money wisely? Or is it just being wasted on things that really make no difference to you or anybody else, really? Okay? So when people have a whole lot of friends, they think that's their currency? Not necessarily, because their friends are sucking the life out of them. If their friends were all doing J-Juice and they were all supporting each other, refilling the mineral reserves and reversing the aging process, that's a very wealthy group of people. J-Juice crowd is a wealthy group of people because we're not sucking the life out of each other. We're trying to give each other life. Okay? And we are documenting it. So people feel comfortable with doing the J-Juice. They're not scared of the pain. I had a testimony today with that goat that had the maggots under the skin. And there's an actual disease condition where a person who is incapacitated, immunocompromised, has exposed infection, flesh, all this stuff, and then the flies lay their eggs and the maggots are eating the person from the inside. Well, this goat had that issue. The goat had an injury, an exposed wound, a very, severe wound, and that the maggots were eating the flesh all the way to the bone, necrotic flesh and all that. And so she, you can see it on my Facebook, that she first did like the colloidal silvers and the antibiotic type of stuff. And then she started applying the J-Juice. And you can see the progression of the wound finally healing. The pestilence, because when a person has like a major imbalance in their biochemistry, pestilence will be attracted to them. That's why there's a huge market in the mosquito repellents, flea sprays, flea and tick sprays and powders, because there are animals and people who are on a death trajectory that are secreting excess fluids, chemicals that pestilence get attracted to, and then they bite, and then they upload viruses that you'll be exposed to anyways, but on a weak body will then cause then a person to get cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Because actually viruses on a strong body will just upload more data to enhance the evolutionary cycle of that human or that animal. But on a weak body, that data, that virus, will destroy them. And then what happens is, yes, then other pestilence will be attracted. Okay? So that's the death process. That's the death process. So your life is currency. Your minerals, every single thing that you do is like a mineral value to it. Are you expending more of your life force than you are actually replenishing? And so those that are like highly productive out there that just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, 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 go. And they are going continuously like the Ricochet Rabbit, the Energizer Bunny. They're putting so many miles on themselves and they're not doing the J juice. So they're spending themselves at such an accelerated rate. And then those that are handicapped, that have some issues where they can't, where they're resting a lot, but they're not fixing those weaknesses. And so the body has to go do biochemical triage. And if you're not absorbing and refilling your mineral reserves to then balance out your biochemistry so you're completely proportional to your size, guess what? The minerals are being depleted because the body's trying to keep the heart going, trying to keep the brain going, trying to keep the lungs and the liver and the kidneys going at the expense of the rest of your body. And then that's when people die of heart attacks and strokes, because there'll be no more mineral reserves left. When you have symptoms, it's a red flag saying, hey, we're using your reserves, but it's almost depleted. And if you're in your 50s or 40s and you have major symptoms, that's like the idiot lights on the dashboard. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. And some of you won't survive your next round of symptoms. Some of you will, because you'll have enough reserves. Some of you are doing the J juice, you're getting the symptoms, yes. But the J juice is giving you the mineral reserves. Do I need to drink this every day? No, but I want to keep making sure that I have the nutrition, because I don't eat a lot. I think today we had Domino's pizza and I had like 2 or 3 slices, and I had a few of the chicken nuggets or their little boneless wings or whatever, and then one of the lava cakes. And it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. That's all I really ate today. I think, what did I eat anything this morning? Oh yeah, I had French toast. But I had like a half. I didn't even have a bunch. I had like a half of the French toast with a little pieces of bacon, and that's it. Okay. And so, and then this is the micro and macro nutrition. So when you think about it, you know what makes up the human body? It's the minerals, it's the fatty acid, the amino acid. So the minerals, fatty acid, amino acid. And then the fourth thing, sugar, you stop it. I forget the fourth. I have to remember this. What is the fourth thing? Fatty acid, amino acid, minerals. I will memorize this. I will. I'm going to find it. If you guys know offhand, that's fine. But I have to memorize this because that's what's in the J juice. So you guys know why the J juice is so amazing. I'm going to find it. Sugar, every time I get on Facebook Live, you always have to mess with me. The pro hormones. Okay. Yes, you see sugar on the SAP scale. Okay, so the minerals, the amino acids, and the amino acids are actually proteins, just so you guys know. Fatty acids and the pro hormones. Okay? And so vitamins are what then is a catalyst to getting your hormone secretions balanced. So minerals, the acids, and the pro hormones. So those are the 4 things that make up everything. So your hair is minerals. You'll see your behavior, which is a manifestation of your hormones. Are you balanced or imbalanced? Is your attitude aggressive or chill or overly loving? Okay, those are at the triggers of your hormones. And then, yeah, your flesh, the proteins. All of the cells in your body are made up of amino acids, the fatty, and these acids also not only build up the cells and protect them, they also dissolve things that don't belong in your body. Sugar, you stop it. Hey, Jason. Jay. Sugar is like, I don't know what her deal is, but every time I go on Facebook Live, she has to whine at me.
Come on, Mama. You go outside, baby?
She always does this.
You go outside?
Go outside, Sugar. Go outside. I'm telling you, it never fails. So my husband can take her out. So, so this has the lactic acid. Okay. So you see the body's made up of fatty acids, amino acids, minerals, and the prohormones. So this has the lactic acid, the electrolytes, the minerals. It has the fatty acid in the food supply. There's fatty acid here, and there's also other acids. And yeah, you have the minerals, and you have the nutrients, the prohormones. The nutrients, the vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, those are for the hormones. Guess what? That's the micro. There's micro and macro nutrition. This is everything the body is made up of, but in a liquefied form. This is life. Right here is life. Right here is life. You spend more than you are replenishing. Guess what? That's called death. So now I'm so aware of my energy. I'm so aware of who it is I give my energy to. I'm very selective in who I give my energy to, because you don't want to spend yourself too much on things that don't give you a return. And it doesn't mean it's always monetary. It just means that when people send me their testimony, I think that's great. I'm willing to spend my mineral reserves to go and post that testimony and post it in my group, post it in my business page, and post it on my Facebook so everybody can see what somebody is doing and seeing the success of the juice. When someone sends me just random videos on stuff that I'm like not really looking for, or they're wanting to chat with me and I really haven't had a basis of relationship in a long time, I don't usually respond because I don't want to get mired in the back and forth. Okay? You know, I'm so public and so active on my Facebook that the best way to see what I'm doing today is just check out my videos. If you can get on board with J Juice, great. If not, don't worry about it. Go back to your activism. But that's not where I'm at. So I do have a lot of residual friends from the different, activist groups I belong to that are wanting to find out what's going on and want to chat. And I don't. I really don't. Because I'm aware of how much energy private messenger is. And so if somebody does need to expend energy and they want to talk about the J Juice and they're doing the J Juice, they buy the book, send me the receipt, and they can go and process all of their emotions and do what they have to do in my group. And there's a support system. People will go and support a person who's going through a difficulty. Thanks, Doreen. Okay? So I channel my energy in the places that are appropriate. I get emails from different people, whether it's a testimony or someone wants to just emote on me and say I'm horrible. Okay, fine. I'll either respond if it's semi-intelligent, or I'll just block and not even deal with it. Okay? Sometimes I will take the time and respond to someone who actually has an intelligent question that they want clarification because they saw like a Dr. Phil thing or whatever they saw in some debunking group. And other times I don't even respond. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. Be careful who you entertain. Try not to entertain all of the debunking groups and all the people that want to naysay about J Juice, because they'll suck the life out of you. They'll take your mineral reserves and they'll steal from you. People have stolen my ebook. I've had parasites that are trying to get currency in their world, which is make money. They have stolen from me. That happens out there. But that just really exemplifies the imbalances in those specific people. It doesn't say anything about me. It says everything about them and the fact that they can't replenish their own reserves, so they go and steal somebody else's. And that's what parasites do. They steal somebody else's reserves. I'm not necessarily pissed off about it. I'll try to make it harder next time I publish a book. It's not going to be an ebook. So be very careful, you guys, taking things for free on the internet because you're taking and stealing from somebody else's reserves that you didn't earn. Okay, and that's just like taking on these diets and exercise regimes and all these trendy things that your body really didn't earn it. And so that's why you see these diets don't work. That's why they're very trendy and very short-lived. Because really, this is the answer to changing the biochemistry. And that's why you don't need to exercise. Exercise is for people who are imbalanced, trying to find balance. The balance is in the biochemistry. It's not in these external trendy things that people are trying to sell because they haven't replenished their own reserves. So they're trying to take from you. Those that sell pills, powders, and supplements and detoxes and exercise regimes have zero ability in replenishing their own reserves. So guess what? They take from you, though it's not like they're being nefarious or mean. That's just what they were taught. But when you look at it biologically, they are taking your hard-earned money as well as your mineral reserves and depleting you. And then you're happy about it because you have a six-pack. Now, someone can characterize J-Juice the same way, oh, she's taking your money. No, it's information. It's a book. There's no product. It's just a book. And an idea that if you can understand it and process the information, this is the access, this is the possibility. Go and process it and figure out yourself. We don't tell anybody what to expect. We actually want to hear feedback from you, what you're experiencing with the J-Juice. Because we're not coaches or doctors or naturopathics or homeopathics. We're just humans that are trying to repair the damage that has been done to us for centuries. We are trying to reverse issues from our ancestors, generational weaknesses. And some of you are having a harder time than others. It's difficult to heal. It's not easy. Some will not make it. And they'll blame me like, oh, it didn't work for me because it doesn't, No. You have to have the head to be able to heal because your body can handle it. But some people's minds are not strong enough to be able to have mind over matter. Because when you have a major healing symptom, some people will get scared. And that's fine. Go to the doctor if you need to. They'll do all the tests on your blood. And we had somebody that went to the doctor, the ER, because she felt like she needed to because she is a cancer patient under a doctor's care. And they did the EKGs and the blood tests and everything was normal. But the body is healing. Okay? And so, you just have to allow that time. So if you're living a high octane lifestyle and you're like playing the nouveau riche on the J-Juice, you're taking advantage of the newly found wealth of energy and vitality, but don't spend it too soon. Put it on reserve because you're going to need it when you have another healing symptom that's going to be way like surprising the shit out of you. Some people have spent their reserves too soon when they're on the J-Juice. They've been on it for a year and they're like, oh yeah, everything's great. They haven't reversed their issues. And they're like, oh yeah, I see what I'm doing. I'm doing this, and this. I'm like, oh my God, when are you healing? You haven't reversed your issues really 100%. Because they're still imbalanced. I can just tell by my interaction with them that they still have major hormonal imbalances. But they're claiming that they're so healed. No, I know different. You spent your reserves too quickly because you took advantage of that newfound wealth. Don't be a nouveau riche on the J-Juice because that will stop you from getting to the next level. And then the healing will be harder because you spent all your reserves. Don't spend your reserves as soon as you get them when you're on the J-Juice. It means that don't take advantage of the benefits too soon. Just pace yourself on the J-Juice. Pace yourself. I'm going to drink this right now. It's not horrible, but it's like it's not bad. But I'll tell you, when you first do it, It's going to be difficult, but you'll be fine. Say what you got to say. Gail, that's fine. Appreciate you asking permission. The reason why Gail's asking permission to interact is because she's very, very vocal and very, very verbose, which is fine. But sometimes people can be very extremely verbose and they suck the energy out of the thread. And then I have to constantly interact with them because they're saying stuff that is actually in conflict of what I'm saying. And then I have to correct it, and then we get off track. But I've finished my thoughts, so I appreciate her doing that. So say what you gotta say, Gail. That's fine. So I'll still continue, and then you say what you gotta say. But yeah, so the jade juice replenishes your mineral reserves, okay, guys? It replenishes your mineral reserves, and you have to allow the time to heal. Don't spend the energy too quickly, okay? Yes, you got to work, so you know that you have to work, so you have to fit that in. You have kids, you have a husband, you have a wife, you have animals, you have friends and family, and you have obligations. I get that. But figure out. Okay, but here's Gail. Here's the thing. We're not adding other protocols, okay? No other protocols. I'm not collaborating with anybody. No. Okay. Because here's the thing. People have been able to heal without turning to other types of hypnosis and all of that. Now, I hear what you're saying, that help you separate your body and your mind from the healing symptoms, but people don't have to deal with it. Some people go overboard with taking on other protocols. Okay? They go overboard with the cannabis, they go overboard with the chemotherapy, they go overboard with detoxes in conjunction with the jade juice, and they don't understand the balance. So you really have to understand how to deal with pain, because that is the whole point of the jade juice, is dealing with the pain. You have to give yourself time to deal and face the generational pain. If you start turning to things that anesthetize you in so many different ways, guess what? You'll never understand really, truly how to heal your body, because you're always going to turn to something that's going to anesthetize you. And then you're not healing. Okay? If you do a little bit of whatever it is to help you through that process, a little bit, but people will take it to the extreme. Everybody will find what's comfortable for them. Everybody has managed pain in different ways. There is nobody on the jade juice that hasn't have some go-to when they have a pain sequence. Yeah, they can do meditation. I mean, that's fine. I mean, there's so many different things out there. There's a million different things out there, Gail, okay? People can do chemotherapy. They can do cannabis. People will find. But I don't want people recommending how to. We're not doctors, Gail. We're not doctors. If somebody is in pain and they want to manage it, they will go to their doctor and do things in minimal basis. In my group, we're not helping people manage their symptoms. We're not recommending any protocols other than the jade juice. You drink the jade juice. If you have pain and you don't like the pain, then you will go see your doctor or turn to what you already know that worked for you. If this guy helped you, that's fine. It doesn't mean they're going to help somebody else. Okay? Because somebody took cannabis or chemotherapy and it helped them does not mean that somebody else is going to get the same result. That's why we don't recommend anything. We don't tell anybody how to heal through the jade juice. The only thing that's in my book that talks about managing the healing process is using the jade juice. If you get a cut or a scrape, dip your finger in jade juice. If you have specific things that happen on the surface of your body, dip it in jade juice. If jade juice doesn't work, then fine, turn to whatever you know is best for you. But we will never, ever tell anybody to do this for their healing symptom. Ever. We're not doctors. We're not coaches. We're not naturopathics. We're not trying to be anybody's guide through the healing process. We're just going to be a support to give people our experiences but not with the intention to say, hey, here's a way to manage your healing symptoms, the pain, do this, this, and this. Okay? Do what works for you, but not with the intention to guide or tell somebody or coach somebody what they should do. We're not doctors. Okay? Because some people, cannabis works for them, but they have to kind of cut back on the cannabis. They can't be smoking so much cannabis it undermines the healing process. But they can take a little bit here and there based upon their situation. And that works for them. Okay, some people do meditation. Other people will do breathing exercises. Other people will do, I don't know, health. They take, magnesium spray or something. I mean, there's so many different things that people use. But we're not, in my group, we're not trying to recommend all these things. And that's what they do in the healing groups, is they recommend all these different protocols. And then people are so inundated with all these different things that they're on overload and they try everything, and then it stops the healing process. So people understand what works for them when they were in the matrix. They can still apply that, but on a lesser of a basis, on a more conservative basis, because they know it works for them. It's not going to be something that's going to surprise them, or they'll have an expectation that doesn't get met, and then they get pissed, and it makes it worse because they have an expectation that it's going to disappear the pain, and it doesn't. Okay, so just do the recipe, do the protocol. Don't try to help people. They will help themselves. You have to help yourself, Gail. Everybody has to help themselves. Nobody can do this protocol for them or for each other. We can be there as support to say, hey, good job, bam, love it. And then I will post testimonies where I see that it's that it's appropriate. And that one with the maggots, with that goat, that was crazy. It's insane. One of my biggest fears in life is leeches and maggots and worms. And that's why in the book, I don't have too many pictures of worms. Because I'm just like, I can't look at, intestinal worms, all that stuff on the internet. Parasites do have a place on weak bodies. And then maybe, Kevin's going to say in the book that maybe at some point when the body is finally strong, that all the parasites get pushed out. Is there a way to substantiate that? I have no idea. There's no way I'm going to go and get a test to figure out if I have any parasites, because you're always going to be exposed to them. They're going to be crawling in and crawling out because your body's going to purge. When I go outside, there's all these gnats because we're heading into fall. And so we have extra gnats that are flowing around, and they get in my hair, and hell, I don't know, they get everywhere. Okay. But yeah, so your life is your currency. And so you have to be very, very judicious. You have to be very conservative who you give your minerals to, your energy, because stress depletes your minerals. Activism depletes your minerals. When you're constantly busy exercising, yoga, aerobics, lifting weights, depletes your minerals. Everything that you do, when you go outside and you sweat, you're depleting your minerals. Is there anybody worth sweating for in your life? Maybe your husband, okay? I will give my minerals to my husband on an occasional basis. Okay? So that's who I'll give my minerals to. I'll call my mom and give her my minerals. I'll talk to my people like Kevin and Bridget and Lillian, because we're trying to manage all this stuff. And I'll give them my minerals. I'll give you guys my minerals because I'm getting a return on the investment, because I can listen back to myself and say, oh yeah, I can improve this. I should have said this. I can improve this. And it makes, my next transmissions that much better. Okay. So be very aware of who it is you give your minerals to. And if you're going to give your minerals to somebody else, you better get a return on that investment and utilize that energy and that currency that they're giving you to your benefit, to then prolong your life, not keep taking from you to where there's nothing left. Some people who are activists out there, they are falling ill to cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And yes, they're blaming the chemtrails, they're blaming Monsanto, they're blaming vaccines, they're blaming all this stuff. But guess what? They're not replenishing their reserves. They have the ability to replenish reserves. Look, I'm in the same world that they're living in. I'm under the same skies. I'm eating the same foods that they're exposed to. I've been exposed to the same vaccines that they've been exposed to. And guess what? I reversed my issues. I replenished my mineral reserves. They're not. Some of them hate the medical establishment, want to be vegan and vegetarian, organic, allowed an abscess in their tooth to get so bad they had to turn to medical. They had to turn to the allopathic to get a shot of painkillers so they can get some kind of relief. They couldn't handle the J juice because the J juice really was healing them, but they couldn't handle it. So I'm telling you, those that are the anti-government, the anti-establishment, the anti-medical system, they're depleting their reserves to where they're going to go and end up in the medical system. The irony of the activists who actually just sacrifice their body for what, I don't know, is beyond me. It's actually kind of funny if it wasn't so serious. So if you're going to give your body to the universe, you better make sure that you can still keep living. You're not going to waste away and die and disintegrate back into the universe. That you keep your body, mind, and spirit intact. Not just your spirit and that's it, and the body and the mind just disintegrate. It's all three. The body, mind, and spirit physically has to be here on earth for you to be really, truly well balanced. And if you believe in death, then you have no part in the J juice. If you think people should die at some point, you have no belonging with J juice. And you can't speak about how you want to save the world if you can't even save yourself or believe you can save yourself. It's not even saving yourself. But if you don't even believe that you can save yourself from the death process, how the hell are you going to go and try to save third world nations and save the planet if you can't even save yourself? That's what you guys need to figure out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.